This is part 2 of that last story I was telling. As you can tell, I still got the same shirt on. This might be 2 or 3 days later. In the last story, I told you how me and my siblings got followed home by these niggas. My granddad and Kyron pulled up on some cavalry shit. So we was all gravy. After that happened and my granddad and my uncle talked to all of us, things damn near went along for normal for like the next 2 days, except for this one day. When we wake up in the morning, we would wake up and we would get dressed. We had to be at school by 7:30. That's when the bell rang, so we had to be at school by 7:30. A friend of mine's mom, you feel me, on the football team, she would come pick us up for school. We ended up walking home, or we had football practice, I had wrestling practice, Charlie basketball, or Jamari would be out fucking around, you feel me? We was getting dressed, I threw my clothes on, everybody's ready to go, and we go outside, and Jamari's like, oh, we're not waiting for you, man. Whoop, she's outside, she's out front. I can hear the car. So I'm like, oh, damn, she outside. I'm not losing my ride. When we got outside, her truck was not the car that was out front. It was another person's car. I look and I'm like, who the fuck is this nigga? He's like Jamari's age at the time, so 17, 18. We go up to the whip and I'm like, yo, who the fuck is you? And he's like, he looks at me and then he just goes right past me. He looks over my shoulder, he looks at Jamari. And bro, like, hey, you Jamari, right? When a nigga confronts you, or you feel me, tries to test you feel me, while you outside and you call yourself one of them niggas,
you're about to experience a nigga moment.
You're not supposed to look like you're shitting bricks when he asks you a question.
This nigga's scared!
God, I'm so ashamed of this shit. I turn around and look at Jamari, yeah.
Oh, hell no!
Ain't this a bitch? And
Smell like bitch in here!
I turn around and look back at Scud. I'm like, bro, I don't know what you got with problems with this nigga, but this our house, bro. You can take it up with that nigga somewhere else, bro. On my mama. He's like, bro, ain't nobody talking to you, little bro. And I'm like, bro, I know, bro, look, this nigga, and he almost got us fucked up the other day. So if you got a problem with this nigga, take it somewhere else, bro. On my mama, I ain't worried about none of that shit y'all got going on. Because at this point, my granddad told me to stop following behind this nigga.
Shut the fuck up. I'm sick of this shit.
Because every time some shit would pop off, bro, we would be damn near stuck left defending this nigga damn near, bro. I was damn near there on some Naruto shit. Leave us alone. So I'm like, bro, like, nigga, like, get up out of here. Like, this my grandma crib and shit, bro. Like, you feel me? I'm not feeling that. He looks at me, you feel me? He just like, he kind of considers what I'm saying, you feel me? Because, you know, a human's a human, you feel me? No matter how mad he is at that nigga, he realizes he's terrorizing a whole nother family, you feel me? That probably had nothing to do with that shit. He goes, all right, nigga, I'm gonna get up with you. And drives off. This is the second time in 4 days I've been pulled out. And it wasn't pointed at me, but it was pointed in my direction, you feel me? And I was in front of this nigga. So I'm not feeling that at all. I turn around and look at this nigga and I'm like, look, bro, I don't know what you saying to these niggas. I don't know what you got going on or any of this hard shit you think you're doing. Every time one of these niggas show up with you're never prepared for one. And you're scared shitless every time they come. Why are you still in it with these niggas? Why are you still arguing with these niggas? And he starts trying to big bro me all angry and, oh, you don't even understand. I'm like, nigga, I don't have to understand it when I see one. My granddad's saying it all the time. He would tell us stories about our uncles and shit. If you niggas really gonna be on some hard shit, bro, be on some hard shit. Every time we get caught up, nigga, you turn into motherfucking pillow cotton. Yeah, my grandma ended up catching wind of the situation. She had opened the blinds and seen when Scud pulled. She's like, my own kids didn't bring this type of bullshit to my house. You feel me? I'll be damned if my foster kids get my house shot up. I had got home early. And my grandpa sits me down at the table. He's like, so what happened this morning? What do you mean? Not trying to get Jamari in trouble. And my grandma like, nigga, you're not finna keep on line for this nigga. And one thing about my grandma, she don't like cussing. If she cusses at you or calls you a nigga, you know what I'm saying? She's dead ass serious. Nigga, you're not finna keep covering up for this nigga, bro. This shit's getting more than he can handle. Isaiah, you need to understand that he's endangering y'all. He's out here doing these things and saying these things and saying he's this person when he's not really like that for real. So I end up coming clean. Jamari into it with this nigga. And he's not gonna tell y'all because, you feel me, he wants y'all to think he innocent, but bro, we fight these niggas every day. And then he's like, okay, all right, okay, cool. Jamari gets home, my grandpa gives him the rundown. He's like, bro, check this out. You need to go hit all them niggas that you be arguing with and let them niggas know you don't live here. We finna figure something out for you, because if you think you finna bring all this shit to my door, it's not happening. About 2 days later, my granddad does this thing. He goes and collects food donations, you feel me, for our church and shit. He'll do it every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. When we had this talk, it was like before a break. We would go with our grandpa to go load up the truck at the Safeways and then take the food back to our church, or we would just drive around and drop some of the shit off to random people. Real shit, I ain't gonna lie. The night before this, I had woke up in the middle of the night to a loud like boom. I had a headboard at my grandma's house, you feel me? Like it was a cool little headboard. When you sleep, you could damn near put your head like right in on the inside. And I've done hit my head on it before, so I'm thinking like I just twitched in my sleep and hit my head. Damn. I'm like, damn, I must have just hit my head. The next morning, I hear my grandpa, he's ballistic, he's hot. My grandma's like, hey man, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Why are you yelling? This nigga Charlie talking about something. Grandpa, what is that? There's bullet holes in my fucking house. I get up. I'm like, so that slam I heard last night, there is a bullet hole in my headboard. It was like this far away from my head, folks. Look, I'm like, there was a cool 7 holes in our shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie. They didn't air our shit out, but they love tapped us shut me. And the thing that really set my OG off, I ain't gonna lie, there was a bullet hole in his brand new Benz. A Benz is a car he's been wanting for his whole life. Like, he worked his whole life thinking about when he was gonna buy a Benz in his retirement. And when I moved in, he just had happened to find a Benz, you feel me, that he had liked. And he had just bought this Benz, but he has his Benz to this day. It's his baby, bro. Like, he doesn't even drive it. There was a fresh, hot 40 bullet sitting in his trunk. You know, like on the left side of the car, where it'll say like 4MATIC or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever kind of drivetrain it is, like 4MATIC or whatever the fuck it say on them foreign cars. Like this big, bro, fat shit, bro. So I'm like, ooh, he's finna be livid. Kyron had stayed the night last night. Nigga, and his car got the worst. Beat the fuck down. To keep it a band, they really shot Kyron's car up and then just tagged our house up. When Kyron pulled up that day, he had opened the door and stood outside. Nigga, I ain't gonna lie, my cousin's hard, bro. Like he's a square in a regular sense. You feel me? He goes to school, goes to college, goes to work. But nigga, my cousin Kyron, bro, like he was that nigga we really looked up to as kids, bro. Like at least me and Charlie, bro. Jamar thought he was too grown.
Oh my God.
Nigga, when he seen bro with that po that day, bro, and he got out the car, nigga, and was like, come on, y'all get in the car, bro. He stared bro down. And when we was all rushing to the car to get in the car, he stared bro down, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That might have been one factor as to why that nigga didn't just start airing the shit out. Because the only nigga that exuded straight confidence in that situation wasn't even my grandpa. When we pulled up, Kyron bounced out the car, opened his car doors, and looked at that nigga, just stared him in his eyes. That's protection. That's when somebody cares about you, when somebody gives a fuck about you. He wasn't worried about what that nigga had. He wasn't worried about what the fuck he was gonna do. He just knew he had to protect his family. Jamari wasn't doing that for us. This is the most hooded shit I ever been a part of at this point in my life.
Dramatic.
So, and my grandpa, I ain't gonna lie, as a man, that's a kick in the nuts, bro, and I didn't understand that. I was thinking my grandpa was gonna explode, start tripping. He felt like he couldn't protect his castle, bro, you feel me? Nigga, he wake up, nigga, he got bullet holes in his shit. His car didn't get popped up. His Benz got hit one time. Nigga, Kyron's car was fucked up, bro. He had to get a whole new car after that shit. There was holes on the doors, the windows was splashed open, you feel me? Cause it was bad. He ain't never felt like he couldn't protect somebody, cause when he was a kid, bro, that's all he was doing was protecting his family, you feel me? He was one of the oldest boys. You know what I'm saying? He's from South Carolina and Georgia and shit. You feel me? Real boy, nigga, real dirty South. He don't play none of that shit. He was feeling some type of way about it. And I didn't understand that because I didn't grow up with no men in the house. You feel? I never grew up with a man, you feel me? I never have and understood the concept that a man is supposed to protect all these people in the house. Now, I'm like, Grandma, what's wrong with Grandpa? Like, why is he acting like that? And I'm like a 14-year-old kid. That was one of the first lessons I learned about being a man, bro. Like, you're supposed to protect everybody in your vicinity with whatever you have in your power. And we were all his kids, you feel me? He felt like he couldn't do that. Not to mention his wife was in that motherfucker. He ends up calling my uncle and like a sheriff, not like the cops, but he calls like a sheriff to come pick up the shells and shit. And you feel me? He's like, well, do you want us to go investigate? My grandpa's like, bruh, nah, we don't do police investigation. Pick all this shit up and you feel me? Do whatever the fuck y'all do with it. I just don't want to buy my house. He's like, no, I don't. Just pick up these shells, take this statement, get the fuck out of here. You feel me? He's not going for none of that shit right now. We get in the house, bruh. My uncle, he's like, do any of y'all know, you feel me, what's cracking? I'm like, what's up with that? Like, do y'all know what's up? I'm like, I don't. You feel me? I don't know. And Charlie's like, I don't know. When he asked Jamari got that same motherfucker. We all know, bro, this is Jamari's fault. And when he asked Jamari, bro, me and Charlie couldn't even look in his direction because we know, bro. We know it's his fault. We know he made them niggas that.
What did he do to make them niggas that mad?
My uncle gave him an ultimatum. He said, bro, look, check this out. You can let this shit happen again, and if it happens again, it's gonna be bad for you. Or
wait, there's more.
You can pack your shit up right now and get the fuck up out of here. I know this is your fault, but as soon as I find out it's your fault, it's gonna be an issue, Jamari.
This world shall know pain.
Your best interest is to pack all your shit up right now and get the fuck up out of here. You gotta cut. And that's what he did. He said his goodbyes, gave grandma a hug, you feel me? She told him to be safe. Gave us all a hug, and he got up out of there. You feel me? My brother's he's doing good now, you know what I'm saying? He's doing better for himself. He got a job and all that shit. But at the time, that was the craziest shit I ever been a part of, you feel me, up until that point in my life. You feel me? Like, that shit was wild. And I learned a lesson that day, bro, that you can't follow behind everybody. You know, keep it a band. If it's funk, it's funk. Sometimes you just don't like a nigga, and that's okay. And if you just want to get up on a nigga for that reason, that's what that is. And if that's how he was, he wouldn't have been so soft about the shit when them niggas showed up. My granddad knew he wasn't really about that shit, and we knew it was his fault. About 2-3 hours later, my uncle called my grandpa, and he said, yeah, I heard word on the street that was Jamari's fault. You feel me? I know who did that, and I know why he did it, and I know it's Jamari's fault. So what do you want to do about it? And that's also when I learned another big lesson, bro. Sometimes when you a bigger man, bro, sometimes you just got to be like, hey, you feel me? The problem's gone, the situation's gone. He told my uncle, hey, tell him Jamari's up out of here. You feel me? This is an old man crib, bro. And you feel me? And one thing that, you feel me, niggas can respect is an old man crib, bro. You feel me? They probably didn't know my grandpa lived in there. Niggas respect that. You feel me? Niggas can respect that, bro, because niggas got family. More of the story, bro. Just don't be on this motherfucking internet running your mouth, and you know you ain't got it like that to defend yourself, the people around you, and most importantly, your life. Don't be on here just trying to look cool. That shit. I'm about here.
Double left, this is not Fendi. Niggas speaking on Lil Jew, I had enough of that. I had to cut the bitch off, like get my number back. The closest ones to you, nigga, they gon' snake you. I'ma throw you in the box like I made you. P.O. wanna see me down, don't wanna see me win. I gotta get it on my own and stack my Benjamin. Young nigga tryna get it, bitch, you can't tell. A nigga really think I'm nervous, come and try me. So I slid off up in this bitch, yes, baby slash. Seen him in traffic, I bet he looked and hit a 4 flag. I ain't really like school, I've always had it mad. But when it comes to this money, we don't subtract. I can't go out, that is not in me. Beat your block with this fully, this is not semi. I see on this juice like I don't want kidney. Fuck Franklin, double left, this is not Fendi. I can't